What's up, Pit Crew? Welcome back. Thank you for joining. Welcome back to Pit Podcast.
Just hit the spring.
What?
Watch your body movements, you child.
I got you.
I'm host Nathan. Host Ian to my right. Host Topher to my front. Is that the same shirt you wore 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or 1 week ago?
Filthy.
We don't even know how many weeks ago it was.
Yeah, it's been. I'm telling you, not washed.
You're just saving the environment. You're saving water.
That's
so.
right. Save the planet, everybody. Don't. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it might have been 1 week into the future. I don't know.
We don't even.
we don't need to.
All right. So, how we doing? How's everybody doing? We're just gonna have a chill session today. Everybody's tired. The lights are bright.
Lights are green. Come pick up your robots.
Quick click of money.
Quick. Mom and Dad are about to be home soon.
Chris, how's your robotics life been?
So I think it's been going. I'm tired. So I'm volunteered for 3 events so far.
Which ones?
So I went to Chelsea, Woodhaven, and at the time of this recording, Belleville.
Went to Woodhaven?
Wayne State. That's what I said.
Okay.
That's what I said. Wayne State.
Uh-huh.
So volunteer for those 3 events. All those events were pretty well. And Wayne State just so happens that helping the volunteer side of things for that event, but also 3175 Night Vision also competed for Wayne State and ended up winning the event. So ended up just feeling proud for the team, proud of the kids that worked in the hours that they put in for the robots. We competed, and it seemed like everybody was having a great time for them. Excited to be bigger and better for the next event, which happens to be Troy 1. So
This weekend.
This weekend. So I'm excited for that. And I think 3175 in terms of that department. The team, we're going to be doing a iteration to the Wayne State bot that we had. There was issues more so for intaking, hopper being a passive hopper, meaning that it deploys out but never retracts in, as well as trying to increase the speed of the shooter, as well as our moving floor, our agitator, I guess.
Hot dog rollers,
yeah.
Love me some hot dogs. That sounds pretty good right now, actually.
Yeah. Roll dogs.
Go dogs.
Roll
dogs.
Roller dogs.
Roll dogs.
Hey, we should get one of those little hot dog rollers for craft services.
Yeah. For my home next year.
Right. But yeah, no, so far the improvements for the bot is we're different hopper design, intake, and I think we are addressing the roller dogs themselves. So, but I'm not 100% sure in terms of the progress of that. But those two, the hopper and intake, those are what's getting changed for Troy 1. We're excited for it. I think we'll do good. Just hanging in there with the other teams that are going to be competing, and I think it's going to be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Fun stuff.
So how about you guys?
How's
How's your careers going?
Well, our group, so we were at Marysville. I've volunteered at Marysville and Belleville, but he was at Marysville too. They were they did okay. Both teams ended up on an alliance.
Nice.
Definitely room for growth for both. I know we've been working on that. We're competing again at Troy too, and we still have about another week and a half to get things nice and ironed out. So really excited to see the growth there. I haven't been with the team too much because I've had some personal stuff going on, so I haven't got to see that firsthand. But and I know we're really proud of. We had for our week 1 or our week 2 event at Marysville, we won the Excellence in Engineering Award, which is the first time the team had ever won it. And
Awesome stuff.
That was a lot point of pride. One of our design mentors, Nolan, was really proud of it, and I was really proud, especially of our students on the marketing side too, because I think a big part of that was our engineering notebook we put together. So we had our marketing kids working with our CAD kids, working with all across the team to come together to put this together to show to the judges. And
That's a good idea. Notebook or poster or like
notebook, yeah.
notebook.
It's kind of, we have a little bound book
Okay.
that kind of goes through the design process for everything on the robot
That's a
and
good
the
idea.
CAD of it, and
Yeah.
every iteration they kind of went through
Mhm.
throughout the testing. So it's really cool, and I'm just really proud of the kids for pulling that, because I know that's one we've wanted for a while, and to see it pulled off was really, really nice.
You guys have a Nolan too?
We do.
Never thought I would see another one. We have a
Have
Nolan
you,
too?
have you ever
Good
had
guy.
Have you ever had another Nolan?
Yeah, I have a Nolan.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
What does your Nolan do?
software.
Oh, student?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, YPP.
I thought yours
Kidding.
was a student.
No, mine.
Oh shoot.
Nolan's
Oops.
our adult CAD
Oh, okay.
mentor. Yeah,
Oh.
but he works with a great group of good
Kids.
group of kids we got on that too. A lot of seniors. We're gonna miss them, but
Yeah.
anyway.
12 a day.
We were at Belleville. Well, I was at nothing for week 1, then reffing Woodhaven. That got me pooped. I was pretty tired after that one. But Woodhaven, fun. Good food at Woodhaven actually. Like good food.
Well,
Good food at Woodhaven.
What was the food?
I can't remember what I texted you guys, but
Let's have
meatballs, potatoes, veggies. I'm actually drawing a blank. I'm so sorry, but like it was good. I had gravy.
Wavy.
Yeah. I can't remember, but it was good.
It was good,
It was
okay.
some good
All right,
stuff.
try and
yeah.
think about that. Talk about the team, then we'll come back to our food breakdown.
Okay.
I think. What do you think?
That's true. That's fair.
Okay. Food and bathroom breakdown. I have criticisms. Not about Woodhaven, but like just about other stuff.
I hear you.
Belleville was good. Belleville, I've been saying this the whole time, but our biggest opponent at Belleville is ourselves. First event of the season, and yeah, we definitely punched ourselves in the face a couple of times. Can issues, can ghosts, more specifically, I guess, as Rodney calls them, where it just shows up, messes some stuff up, and then just dips out, and it's like you've never seen it for a couple matches, then it just comes back at the worst possible time, and that sucked. Mechanical failures, some bolts that were too short, cut belt from contact somewhere. I believe it was on the intakes, right? So that makes sense. Didn't have the replacements on us. Another mistake there. Should have brought spares with us. Apparently nobody uses GT2 belts anymore. Everybody uses HT belts. So, I had to run back to the shop that night, and we found some solutions that worked temporarily, but not the best permanent solution, like having the spares. So second day came back with all the spares and stuff, and good showing for like the last 2 matches. First pick of 8, that was a little bit surprising. I think I had a good chance. I had a good feeling we were gonna get picked, right? Because our last couple matches were like good showing. Showing that we could work, but went a little earlier than I expected, which I'll take it, yeah. And then first match in playoffs, can issue. Second match in playoffs, I thought was one of our best matches, with like robot performance and drive team working well together. But yeah, a lot to learn. Just comes down to time during build season and not getting a lot of practice matches and reps in, and figuring out all this stuff at your first event, so
Yeah.
we're got a lot of work cut out for us before Livonia, and we got to get stuff done.
Period.
Yeah. And your bot's it's awesome. It's an awesome piece of machinery, right? So it's a nice wide bot. It's a three wide shooter.
Mhm.
3 wide shooter. Man, yeah.
3 wide dumper, baby.
Love
Yep.
those dumpers.
Yeah. Big dumps. Big
Yeah.
dumps.
Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper. That's his nickname. The catcher for the Seattle Mariners, which By the way, opening night tonight. It's Wednesday. We got our first game of the MLB season on Netflix, and then Tigers home opener tomorrow on Thursday. So baseball's back. No one other than me probably cares about that.
I don't
but
watch
you know
baseball.
what?
I'm so sorry.
It's back.
I didn't know it was so early. Well, I guess it's March, huh? It's in March.
Yeah, we're right there. Right. It's basically April.
Yeah.
But
You know what's also in season? Bowling. The PBA. I believe the Illinois Classic is occurring either at the time of this recording or next week. I can't remember the schedule, but yeah, the PBA.
good memory, Chris. All right.
Event season's already almost over too, man. Like
I know we're halfway through districts.
I was telling you this earlier, but it's like halfway through districts. We've already done one competition. We've got one more, and then like, you know, with how many points we got at the first one, it's like that could be it, right? And it's just so short already. And you know, I like volunteering and everything, but it's not the same feeling you get as being with the team and playing in it, you know.
100%.
So
That's
bummer,
true.
but yeah. What events we've done so far?
So I admit it. Marysville, Belleville. I might have said that earlier. I can't remember.
I think you did.
But what I think we should talk about is between the three of us here and, you know, the entirety of our pit crew team, except Jason went to Milford the 1 week, but we've been to 5 events so far. Chelsea, Wayne State, Woodhaven, Marysville, Belleville, and Milford. But
Yeah.
we're going to forget Milford. Milford, amazing event, by the way. Cindy Nader's food for that one, always on point. Absolute pleasure anytime we get to go to that one to volunteer. But each of these events, how do we think it went? Chris, I think you were the only one of us that made it to Chelsea week 1.
That's
so.
right. Which funny story about Chelsea is that so when I signed up to volunteer for that event, I thought the event was going to be held where I live here in Michigan. I thought the event was going to be held at Chester Field. I did not realize Chelsea was an hour away towards Ann Arbor. So I'm like, fudge. I have to travel for this. I didn't get a hotel or nothing.
Mhm.
So I made the trip back and forth both days to Chelsea. And the Chelsea event went surprisingly smooth given a week 1 event. Week 1, we didn't have that big delays at all, really. I think maybe we were at most like 10, 15 minutes behind schedule at most. So for a week 1 event, that is excellent. Most teams didn't have any major, major comm errors, with the field and all that. So everything just went smooth.
He was probably on his phone the entire time, and I just had not paying any attention to stuff.
Well, hey, I'll say this. I mean, Chelsea, everything week 1 went smooth compared to our Mount Pleasant event here in Michigan that lost power for almost the entirety of the first day. But
R.I.P. Mount Pleasant. Yeah, that
couldn't be
sucked.
us. Couldn't be us. So, but I mean, yeah. So in terms of robot wise, in terms of how that went, I think the real big story was 54, 60, and 27. They were not to knock off any other teams, but they were the high scoring teams at that event, and they really showcased it. Week 1, they were against each other for one qual match, and it was in like the 300s that they put up. But then when they were paired up together during a line selection, 400, 500 points, consistently. So it's kind of hard to beat against that score. So really, it was everybody else just trying to vie in it. Right? So you had like good teams there, like Dexter Dreadbots. They were there. Flying Toasters were in it too. And some other teams, I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's some teams that showcase solid autos that they utilize. And just more so just teams just trying to score.
Were Toasters and Dreadbots on an alliance at Chelsea?
No, they were different alliances, I think. They were together at Belleville though.
Yeah,
They were
that's
at
what I was
Belleville.
asking.
Yeah, so Belleville, they were together. which I think Toasters did a rebuild for the Belleville event.
Correct. Yep.
And in my opinion, they were the fastest and best scoring team at that event. Right, but
Belleville, you're saying
at Belleville, yeah. But in terms of just how that event went. So let me finish back up to Chelsea. That's basically right. 54-60-27, they won the event. 1502 won the Impact Award, which rightfully so. They're just the Impact video that they showed at the event, and the global outreach that they do. Right, I think they started. I can't remember, either an FTC or an FRC team from Hungary. Well, Hungary?
Can you say it one more time?
Hungary?
that's a Freudian slip.
Can you say library? No, I'm sorry.
Hungary.
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 Hungary. Yep.
Hungary, yeah.
Not hungry.
That's why I said it, right? Hungary. They started a team from Hungary, and it shows that their impact was there. So rightfully
you could say
so.
they ate.
They ate, yeah.
They ate in Hungary.
Right. So I
hate it here. It's nothing but dad jokes. Garbage.
Right. But yeah, so that event went smooth in that department, and then I'll get to Belleville. I'll keep this quick here. Went volunteering for Wayne State. Wayne State, needed volunteers, and I wanted to make sure that we hit, volunteer for that event. It's close by at home. And yeah, so I ref there, and 3175 competed at that event, and the rest of most of the Detroit and Mez teams over there. And the competition wise, I mean, it was good. All the teams were competing close to each other. Just 3175 was the high scoring team at that event. So they ended up picking up 1-2-3 Cosmos from Amtramck, and that alliance went up against 9255 Botmasters, as well as their alliance partner Oscode Gold. I think that's what it's called.
Code Gold.
Cold Gold, I think. Yeah. And happened to be in the finals. It's funny that in finals 1, 3175 actually flipped over, and made it close, for the, I believe, like the only shot for the other alliance to beat that alliance, but ended up, but 1-2-3 really pulled it out and help that alliance get the win for finals 1, which set up for finals 2. But
I didn't see them flip over, but I saw somebody clipped Anthony going when they flipped over.
That was probably that. That was probably that, because it was a little too fast.
Sorry, Anthony.
So that was our week 2 Wayne State
yeah.
update. How did things go? So Woodhaven.
How did that go?
Week 2.
It was good. The game's fast paced, but not as many penalties as I was expecting. I think everyone was kind of being like polite-ish in quals, and then obviously we got to playoffs, and then we got hit with some defense and stuff, and then we started busting out some pin calls and contact inside frame and stuff. Yeah. Tempest was playing mad defense. Tempest was insane. Awesome driver. There was one match they were playing defense on 469, and it was right in my corner too, and like that was just like a beautiful ballet dance. Like it was just back and forth. 469's dodging around him. Tempest is right on him, pinning him, but not for too long. It was beautiful. And then I remember afterwards, because everybody's leaving in the same direction, both red and blue. And so Tempest is, pulled up to their gate. They got to wait for the red robots to come off. And then the 469 and the Tempest driver, they both come up and they're like, "That was awesome, dude. Like, good driving there." And they both, dapped each other up. And I'm like, "Damn, that's GP right there for sure." Like, that was some good stuff by both teams. So that was really, really cool to see.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. Crew was killing it there. Big dumper again, of course. Super fast. Lots of balls in and out. Happy they're on my fantasy team. Who else is there? Goon Squad had a L3, and we saw the first traversal ranking point in Michigan, I believe. So they got helped out with the Bears. I forgot who got the auto climb, but then at the end game, yeah, Goon Squad went up, and then Bears parked right underneath them and got the 50 something. Yeah,
50
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It's kind of tough to call the hanging, I guess, because everybody likes to barely get off the ground. So the refs are trying their best for that one. Food is great, like I said earlier. Really good food. Any questions? Feel free to jump in, guys.
No.
I mean, we weren't there, so I mean, I guess the question I had was, what was like the disparity points wise, that you saw of like the crew versus like everybody else?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Good stuff.
I don't know. They're putting up like 300 per match, probably. Not by themselves, but like as like an alliance. 469 was there. Chickens were there. Bears.
Beats.
Good run to 6. What was that?
Oh, you said Bears. I was going to say Beats Battlestar Galactica.
Okay. Bears were there. Yeah, good run from the 6th alliance all the way to finals. Yeah. Cool event.
Right.
Good stuff. Yeah,
All
good
right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Ian.
Yeah.
Your Marysville event. How did that one shape out?
Yep. So I was at Marysville week 2, repping, and it was, like Nate said, I feel like penalties were kind of slow, slower than I expected. I mean, we've seen that kind of across the board, I think. I will say in playoffs, there were a few cards issued, which you can watch the stream if you want to see what those were about. I won't comment on them specifically, but definitely got a little exciting towards the end in terms of just the energy from the teams and the defense being played, just escalating those a little bit. Event was great. I'd never been to the Marysville event before. I guess it had existed a while back, but it's been gone for better part of 6 or so years now. So
Pre-COVID, yeah.
it was nice to have it back. I'll say food could have been better. It was all kind of homemade stuff, which I really appreciate the effort that goes into that, but I think a lot of times it just doesn't land as well as something catered or from a restaurant. From a volunteer perspective, it's difficult to cook at that scale and do it well. It's just amateur level, for lack of better way of saying. I don't want to say it because like at Belleville, we have a chef,
Chef Tony.
Flower.
What was it? Flower and Flame. I think that's his business card. Yeah. So Chef Tony for Belleville.
But again, that's kind of like a catering situation, right?
Right.
It's a bit more professional.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think we had like a meal that was hot dog, but it's like I don't think it really works very well if you have someone out grilling hot dogs and then bring them into the volunteer room. Like it'll save you a few bucks, sure, but it doesn't work that well. So, in my opinion, but as for the teams there, we had 33 and 35, 39 kind of team up together in the playoffs there. And I thought that alliance worked really well, seeing 33's big dumper kind of doing the bulk, and then 35, 39 had a really great turret as well as intake, and they were shooting from anywhere. They were just kind of cleaning up. So even though they weren't dumping all at once for the entire 25-second shift, they would just be shooting the entire time and making every single shot and just picking up all the fuel that had been around the place. So there were definitely some more veteran experienced teams there that didn't do as well as you would have expected, which I guess to some extent surprised me, but also it's just a reminder, just because that's the name of the team, that doesn't mean they're going to knock it out of the park every year. I mean, these are high schoolers, so you're having turnover every single year from seniors graduating and younger kids coming in, and mentors that help support them and teach them come and go too. So
But it's just something about this year that's like
it feels
it's
like
been
a lot.
happening, yeah, more than I've expected too, right? Like a lot more good teams are bad than I would have expected, and a lot more bad teams are doing great this year, you know? So there's something's in the air, something's in the water.
It's just that 2026 vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Marysville, thumb up. So that's our week 2 groups. Now all of us came back together for week 3 at Belleville, and we
Yeah.
already talked a little about the food there, which was, as always, I would say on point.
On point. Yeah. I mean, it had protein. We had beef stew and pit brisket. It wasn't a roast beef. It was a pit brisket. I got ostracized by Chef Tony by calling it a roast beef.
He told you to shut up, boy.
Yeah.
You don't know cooking.
Apparently not. Apparently Chef Tony does.
Yeah?
Apparently
Should we bring him down to Cooking with Chris?
We should bring Chef Tony.
Challenge?
on there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You versus him?
I'm taking Chef Tony.
I'm taking Chef.
Wow. Okay. But yeah. So Belleville. Again. So they've been doing this since 2018, I believe. So it's always a great venue. The pits are, they're really nice. The actual. Well, really? You don't like the pits?
They're a little
You can
small,
finish your
I feel
thoughts.
like.
You can finish your thought.
Well,
It's okay. The volunteer and team experiences are different for every event.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
At least the last time I went to Belleville with a team, we thought the pits were good. But that was how long ago? So things definitely changed since then.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual gymnasium itself, nice and big. This not
No.
nice.
No.
Are you, really?
No, a
It's-
nice
it's
and big
quite small,
gymnasium
yeah.
would be able to have 10 by 10 pits.
Well, I'm saying the actual the field wise, the
The
field.
I'd say
the field?
arena
Oh,
one
yeah,
is
I'm
also-
sorry. I thought you were still talking about the pits.
No, not the pits.
No.
No.
Even the field. I mean, it's a high school gym, so you got to keep that in mind. But compared to like a Macomb Community College or back when Kettering hosted
Fair.
events, it even for some high school gyms, it felt a little smaller to me. It worked for the space fine, and there was plenty of room for robots to pass when you're going to and from the field. It worked
Macomb?
brilliant. No, Belleville.
Belleville.
But
Okay.
it just feels a little small.
Couple
sometimes.
things, I guess.
Seating's
Yeah,
good, though.
In comparison to an expo center, yeah, like Macomb, yeah, small. I would consider anything with an upper bleacher section big and good because, yeah, that gives you a higher vantage point. You can see more of the field. All the spectators didn't feel cramped. I didn't feel cramped in the stands. There's plenty of room to space out,
Yeah.
and nobody was fighting and saving seats or anything like that, so that was good. Robot traffic, there's not a lot that they can do about it because there's only 2 major doors to go into.
Yeah.
So robots are going to exit the pits and then go in through that first set of doors. All the other spectators and stuff have to go down to the other set of doors on the far end and then go in and enter the seating area. And then heaven forbid, if you don't find a spot there or upstairs, that you have to walk all the way around because there's no way for you to go to the close set of bleachers. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Right? So you have to walk past that first set of doors where the robots enter to go to the second set of doors. Then you have to walk down the length of the field, walk around the back, and then come to the side of the bleachers that you're sitting on, and then go find your seat. So that's a lot of walking, which, again, nothing they can do about that. That's just venue limitations, but...
But in terms of like viewpoints and like where the people were standing, or not standing, but sitting to watch the field, I think that was good.
Yeah, that's
for
good.
those
I agree
teams.
with that. Yeah.
But competition wise for Belleville, it was a little drama that happened. The number 1 seed was 3641 Flying Toasters and 3656 Dexter Dreadbots. I mean, it was on paper those were the best teams that could score fast. But I think their last match, so they ended up losing. They won, I think, two of their matches, but then they lost their next match, moves down to the lower bracket, and lost again. To get them knocked out, and I think it was because I think one of the teams had shooting, like their shooter wasn't working. I don't exactly know what was wrong with it, but it definitely slowed down their fire rate, and yeah, they ended up getting knocked out. So then in the finals, it ended up being
2v3, I think.
2v3. Yeah, so it was Brave Bots and
Bell Villains.
yeah, the 66-15, and then Ravens and Robo Cubs in the finals.
Mhm.
And those two alliances were really closely matched to each other to where it had to go to a finals tiebreaker. But it ended up being Robo Cubs, their shooter wasn't at 100%. Defense was being played by both sides, like very good defense. So it slowed scoring down, but ultimately Brave Bots and Bell Villains won the event, and in a really great fashion. So, yeah, so the event was good. It was good. So,
Any other thoughts on the events?
Oh yeah. Belleville, like I was saying, team experience and volunteer experience are different. One of the things for Belleville as a team, they were very, very strict on no food or drinks inside the field and pits.
Yeah.
Very, very strict. So they had some tables set up in the hallway, at which point you need to have your safety glasses on, and you're considered like in the pit area and stuff, and robots can be around. And very strict on safety glasses, fair. Very strict on waters and drinks and stuff. However, nobody was checking backpacks or anything at all. So some people were putting their water bottles and stuff in their backpacks and then, walking through and into the pits, and then would just have their stuff in there. And then the other thing I thought was interesting was that there was a vending machine further down the hall
Oh, so you could just
that was
buy
working.
stuff.
So you could just walk down there and buy a Pepsi or a Gatorade and then walk into the pits.
sounds like a whole airport situation. You
Yeah,
first go to
kinda,
TSA,
yeah.
and then once you're past TSA, you can go get an overcharged snack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was really hot in the pits as well. On the second day, they opened up some doors to get some airflow, so that helped. But you need to hydrate, right? We needed some waters in there,
Well, you could buy them from the vending machine.
We could buy them from the vending machine, yeah.
For like $3.
The pit gym is small, so pits were 8x10. Which it's small. It's unfortunate. It's a little tight. That's partly on us and other teams to make good use of the space in there. But 10x10 is just night and day difference for most teams.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's all I got. I guess.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to add anything, Ian?
Nope.
All
If
right.
not, I think we can talk about our next topic. So
Mystery-
this is a doozy that came out, about a week ago now? Probably closer to 2 weeks by the time this episode's coming out. Week and a half, maybe. So first Lego League is riding off in the sunset. So for those who don't follow along with FLL, I know we're mostly talking about FRC on this podcast. We've talked about FTC a few times, though. But
A few times, yeah.
so first Lego League, they announced back in January, actually, that they were going to start.
What? I'm tired, man. I just
Get your
came.
Charlie Brown looking socks out of here, bro. People got to pay for them.
On Cameo?
Yep.
Yep. $5. I do whatever you want.
Oh, I thought it was Patreon.
Oh.
Anyway, so as we were saying, they announced back in January that moving forward, they were basically going to restructure FLL. They were going to get rid of kind of that lowest level, and kind of not have the pre-K kindergarten component of it anymore. And then for the older kids, so I think kindergarten's actually got the choice. So kindergarten through 8th grade globally, or within U.S. at least, I think it went up to 16 globally. They were going to rework it, so for the next couple of years, you could pick between using the old Mindstorm kits or these new Lego AI computer science kits. Then we're going to work on revamping Lego League. So starting with the season 2028-2029, it was going to just be this one game using these new kits. And then we're going to have age brackets for the kindergarten through second graders. And then for the U.S., it would be third grade through eighth grade. Within Michigan, that would be third through fifth because we force our middle schoolers to do FTC, or some do FRC as well, but we never let them play down in Michigan in our district.
Yeah.
Good for them.
But anyway, so they made this announcement back in January. Come to about, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, we have an announcement from First that their partnership with, Lego Education is being discontinued. And First is working on a new experience for their K through 8 education opportunities. Let's pull up a statement here from Lego Education as well. So First made their announcement. Lego Education also announced an update that they've been partnering with First since 1998 for their STEM learning. And they're not renewing their partnership with First. So this next season, the 2026-2027, will be their last one together. And then Lego Education is planning to launch something for a 2027-2028 season on their own, to continue to inspire creative STEM learning and all the skills that come along with it, with no other details yet. But basically, that's what we're looking at now. Is it seems like First and Lego are both kind of going to be doing their own competitions starting the season after next. And I don't know about you guys, but I was... From the standpoint, at least, of the fact they just announced this whole new ecosystem and development for how things were changing with these AI computer science kits a few months ago, it kind of surprised me to see now that next year is going to be the last. From that standpoint, at least. But I don't know if we have any other thoughts. Where
so unfortunate for the kids, like generally, because
He had me there at first, not gonna lie.
the importance of the education for these young students to utilize like Legos as like their first step into learning these STEM skills, team collaborations or whatnot is so crucial and impactful for these students. And to see that just go away because of what has happened with a former former associate of the program,
someone who recently has left the board of directors.
Right?
Based on things going on outside,
right?
In that person,
in that whole sphere, it's right. It's unfortunate, and I really am curious to see what First is going to do in terms of this new program, this new strategy that they're going to implement for them. Because I don't think it's going to be the same. It really isn't going to be the same for the kids. And how are they going to, what are they going to do? What's going to replace the impact that these kids had within the FLL scenery over there?
Okay, but it's not going away. It's
not
actually
going away.
it's actually doubling in size because now there's going to be two of them.
Programs.
Two programs, right?
So,
right.
What are you trying to say?
I'm. Let's see.
Because now, right, there's going to be First thing. There's going to be a Lego Education thing. They're going to be different. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that First and Lego aren't going to work together as well. I think Lego is a good building platform for those students. It's a lot of younger students don't really have the dexterity to, work with metal tools, bolts, nuts, things like that. So Lego is a good building system structure-wise. There's a lot of other Lego-like systems as well that maybe First adopts, maybe First comes out with their own thing. There's like erector sets as well, which are metal, aimed at that age range as well. It's a bummer that First and Lego aren't going to be working as well. I don't blame Lego. I understand the reasons. It's a business decision, right? They don't want to continue it. Yeah, they can do whatever they want, but it's we're gonna get 2 programs now, so it's kind of the diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Looking at the best, not best case scenario, but the positive
positives
side
out
of
of it, I guess. Yeah.
And I'll add a couple things onto this. First of all, kind of with what we were just saying, we're trying to stay kind of broad with it. I think everyone's aware of certain situations that are going on, but obviously this decision itself, there was never any reason listed by First or Lego other than not renewing it. So just for clarity, we're just speculating. We're not saying anything in particular is true, but it just feels like it correlates. But also, different circumstances at that time. But I don't know if a lot of people know, but before we had First Tech Challenge, we had First Vex Challenge, which we had First Lego League even before that middle schoolers did before either of those existed. But First and Vex actually used to work together and had this competition that existed for a couple of years before Vex decided to go do its own thing with Vex. And then we created First Tech Challenge through First that kind of replaced that. So this isn't the first time First has had a partnership for one of their programs fall apart and where they've gone their separate ways. And obviously now Vex is a completely separate robotics competition that's grown and
successful.
And successful
very
too,
successful.
yeah.
We I don't think any of us have ever volunteered at any of those events or worked on a team from them, but
based off of the global scene, even for like their world champs, I think that they take place in Kentucky, I believe. I can't remember what part of Kentucky, but
Louisville. Thought it was in Louisville,
Kentucky. Yeah, you might be right, but I mean, just like from what I've anecdotes and just seen what I online.
The KFC Yum Center.
Is that what it's actually called?
That's the one in Louisville. I don't know if that's where the Vex not HQ but World Champs is.
Their World Champs is, yeah.
Kentucky KFC Yum Center.
But they are growing in the positive direction, and I think they're doing a good job in that department of like expanding more arms to get experience in the STEM field, right? I am optimistic in that regard that Lego Education will do the same here, in tandem of just reaching out to more kids to be more, to get kind of more exposure to those skills. So
He'll be good. More opportunities. I got great example, Ian, with First Vex stuff. Yeah, First it seems like they faced this before, and they got to pivot quick, but I'm sure they'll be able to do it. And yeah, excited for what Lego's gonna bring to the table. I'm sure one of the programs will have very similar feelings to FLL, right? So I don't think FLL will go away completely. I'm sure one of them will, whoever's got the rights and agreements to it, whatever, right, will have the similar feeling to what we see as FLL today. But yeah, we're gonna have something new.
Yeah, I'll be excited. Another competitor in the face, more opportunities to get the kids involved.
Yeah,
so.
Sure.
Especially if they keep around the changes that were just announced in January, you said, right, with the AI
kits,
and the driver, technician, operator roles that they introduced to FLL that looked interesting. It'll be a different feel to FLL in that way as well. So that'll be interesting to see, and we'll have to see the rules on if they have an auto and tele-op period now. And I don't know FLL at all, but I might just be talking.
We'll have to see what Lego Education does moving forward. It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Anyways, the next topic at hand, I think we want to talk about our sister teams, them being able to pick each other for like playoffs and stuff, or during alliance selection. So I've heard some two sides of the coin here in this regard, right? There's some people that are okay just like sister teams picking each other solely in the fact that if it's based off of the numbers that's at the event, they happen just to be the best team, and gives them a great opportunity to continue working together through to those events and try to be successful together. I think that department is fine. Yeah, the other side that says it's almost an unfair competitive advantage to those two teams who've been working together, that know their subsystem, and that they practice together to be, a quote unquote well-oiled machine together at the event that they're going at the same time, right? And for some of those teams, they think that's unfair because these teams don't have sister teams. They just work together of their own team, and they just have to rely on other teams that they've never either met with each other before or didn't get the chance to be with, before a comp or whatnot. So I am interested to hear, are you guys in favor of sister teams picking each other? Yeah?
Yeah, I
more
don't
or
really
less,
care.
yeah.
I'm cool with it.
I mean, my big thought on it, I don't really see the big deal. I mean, I get the component of, you have the opportunity to work together. Sometimes sister teams will build the same robot too, so that's also a part of it. But it's like, if you really don't want the sister teams to work together, then be ranked number one at the event and then pick one, and then they'll have to either say yes or they'll turn it down and then they can't join the other's alliance, right?
Yeah.
The game's the game.
You kind of have those opportunities during alliance selection, and if the teams aren't good enough where they're in that spot in the rankings where they can decline, then they probably, I don't see any advantage of them being together at that point necessarily then anyway, because clearly you haven't practiced together well enough to even work independently to get that high in the rankings necessarily.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the second part of it is, even if you're not sister teams, you can have that chemistry together, right? Like there's that one page on Blue Alliance that lists the most common pairings, and there's always team, what is it, 1114 and 2056
True
in
that.
Canada.
Great point.
I don't think they're sister teams, but they'll work together almost every
Great
single
freaking
time.
point, Ian. Yeah.
I mean, same thing with 818. Like we have a shop or a practice field that we have some teams come work at. And by the way, if your team's watching and you're in the area and you need that, I mean, feel free to reach out to their team. But let's say Night Vision's in our shop working on something. Well, if we had a robot ready to drive practice, then we could practice together for a whole thing before we go compete together at a comp. I don't actually think we're at a comp together.
Not
with
this
you
year,
guys
I don't
this
think,
year, but like we're not sister teams. Like how would you then define it to make those type of rules so you can't work?
Yeah,
together? I just feel like it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really an issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it plenty of times too, that sister teams pick each other but then end up getting knocked out by another stronger alliance. So it's like,
I can't even really think of any teams except for Martians and More Martians where they build identical looking bots.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the time they don't end up picking each other. Maybe it's 50-50. But it doesn't bother
Just
me.
based on where they
I
go
don't
in
care.
the standings. Yeah.
Right,
Feels
yeah,
like they usually
and,
don't work out.
what their numbers say.
Exactly. Yeah, there's probably better teams, and the only way to control your destiny is to be rank 1 and pick them.
Yeah.
I'll say I do feel like this is a much larger issue in FTC, where a lot of schools will have 3 or 4 teams that sometimes are cookie cutter.
Yeah, that we
versus
could talk
FRC,
about. Yeah,
but
I can see that. Yeah, and the rate of change of you rebuilding your robot much faster. Yeah, yeah, that I could see.
Yeah, but in that department too, I'm, even myself, I'm not too familiar in the FTC world as well.
I don't think any of us are
No.
at this point in our careers. But I mean,
talking about stuff we don't know about.
even the teams that aren't identical robots that are kind of like sister teams in Michigan, right? Like Steel Armadillos and Vipers, I don't think they've ever worked together. Livonia and Tyro's team,
Really?
I can't think if they've ever been on an alliance together.
I think they have been once.
Once.
Yeah.
I don't think Tractor Technicians and Tractor Technicians Next Gen have been on a team.
Shambots,
Together.
Shambites.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Robo Dogs, with there being 3 of them, they
Yeah.
must have at some
Yeah.
point. But
Frog Force,
Automated
amphibians. Yep. Who else we got?
There was a stretch in time of 3538 RoboJack and 8332 Altered Reality. Literally the same exact team members. The only difference is that they literally took a piece of duct tape, taped over the RoboJack's name, and just sharpied 8332 Altered Reality. Yeah. Which that whole style I was a little confused on, because I couldn't tell if it was new members or younger members getting practice in the FRC scene, or how that went. But it from the outside point of view, right? I'm just speculation here that it was just the exact same teams, the exact same robot, just like written different. But
yeah.
But even that is like, they're doing their thing, so I don't see it too much as crazy or advantage or anything like that. It's just they're out here competing, they're getting the experience, and that's all that matters.
Okay, so we'll have to revisit this topic. Maybe we'll look more into FTC next year. See our thoughts on it. But I don't know. I think we're getting. Do you want to call it wraps here? Or do we want to go one more topic?
After your fart here, you can decide. I just heard somebody grumble. I don't know. It was a fart.
I had
think he's
tacos.
hungry. Yeah.
Tacos. Oh.
Here we can talk about it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 32 versus 24 teams for playoffs and regionals and districts. Basically saying, should we pick a fourth robot? Should alliances pick 4 robots for playoffs in not just champs, but at the district championship and district event and regional models, rather than using the backup robot process? Did I frame that right?
I think so. So.
Yeah.
For me, I guess I'm closely in favor of picking a backup bot as part of your lines, like how Worlds do it. So, on the fact that I kind of want to get rid of like the uncertainty backup teams have when they don't know if they'll be picked up or not, because that's something that at the last event that I volunteered at, I was talking to a fellow volunteer who said that they had an experience where there was a backup team that agreed to stay at the event to possibly get ready to be a backup team, but because of how long they were waiting, because they don't know that if they're going to get picked up, they ended up leaving the event fully, like pits packed up, robots packed, team left, right?
Mm-hmm.
But learned that the number one alliance needed a backup team,
And they were gone.
and the number one alliance ended up winning the event without winning the event, and the backup team that left just felt distraught that they just left knowing that it could have possibly won the event.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's such a shot of a feeling that's not a good feeling, right? So I think having the opportunity to pick up teams adds a little more dynamic to the alliance selection process, but also give those teams a chance to know that, hey, if you guys are needed, we need you. So, and you guys got to be ready for it. And the backup team knows that they're on standby when needed.
Yeah. I feel like I see certain parts of what you were just saying, but I also feel like kind of the opposite of what you were trying to say is more true in your scenario, where it's, if you're the top backup team, you now have 8 alliances worth of opportunities to come in to play as a backup, versus if you're picked on an alliance, it has to be that alliance where things go wrong, right? So I feel like, yeah, it sucks as a backup team to be kind of uncertain, but especially if you're number 1 or even number 2 on that list, I feel like if you just pack up to go home,
That's on you.
That's kind of on you.
That's on you.
You agreed to stay and then left.
Yeah, you got no one to blame except for yourself.
It still sucks to know that, say you opted out saying, hey, we don't really want to stick around, so we're leaving, but then you find out you could have. Like, I could see that, but if you're agreeing to be on the list and you're leaving,
that's on you.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And
well, that's just based on the story that.
Yeah.
So
here's the other thing. We don't know that number 1 alliance would have picked them as their third robot either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. because at least it's based off the next available highest ranked backup team that gets assigned to it. You don't pick it, you assign.
Yeah. So, however, I think if we picked third robots, those teams would have a lot more opportunity to learn from their alliance members, which would probably be better, because a lot of times the backup robot is spent sitting in a corner. They're like hanging around the robot, or they're in the stands watching matches. But if you pick up backup robot, then that drive team is working with those other three teams, and they're learning, and they're able to better themselves from, being on an alliance.
You're seeing hands-on on the alliance.
Yeah.
Like you can
Even
see how they're strategizing.
What they're going through, what they're checking on their robot, right? Even if they're not getting played, there is an opportunity to learn there. So that's good for them. I like that aspect of it. The other discussion we had was, how does this affect district points? Do all the 4 teams on the alliance get their district points, or only the ones that play in the matches? So that might get a little tricky.
That'll be a complicating
interesting.
factor
Right.
to try to think about. I'll say, for my part, I don't really have my thoughts on the district point part of it, but from doing 32 team alliances versus 24, I feel like you'd have to do analysis to figure out which events really have 32 that work for an alliance before you could really make that determination. Like, I think regionals and district championships would generally be deep enough team pools, or at least teams within those pools, even if they are like only 32 or 40 teams, where you have 32 that could be contributors on a playoff alliance, for lack of a better way of putting it. But I think, especially for those upper seeded teams going back around, I feel like there's a lot more opportunity where you could pick different teams to fill different purposes, just like you see at the championship, to build your alliance for different situations. So you pick someone that could be your defense / passer, someone who's like really good at offense, say, or maybe one team you just really think, even though the robot isn't the best, but they're really good at like in-match strategy from their drive coach and or from the stands, maybe like they're really good at figuring their data out, where it's like, oh, this team cannot score unless they are right here, so if you go sit right there, then we can beat this team. I don't know, there's just so many, I think, small things that even if you go beyond like, oh, you're just a backup, I think for a good chunk of the alliances there might not be huge like repeated opportunities. I mean, there's a reason that you're now the 4th robot instead of the 3rd, but where you could get some of those robots in, or find other ways those teams can contribute. And like Nate said, I mean, learning too from just being a part of those discussions and part of the alliances. I feel like there's a lot of pros to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I know even in the district level, I know that for like how the backup pool is utilized, that you don't get to pick. I know some teams, they would purposefully immediately right off the rip use their backup bot just to pick up the next available team, just so that way the other alliance doesn't get it. That's another dynamic that I think warrants for whether or not as the continue using the backup pool or have those four team alliances. So yeah, okay. So
all right, on that note,
let's
thank you for joining Pit Crew. Leave a comment, subscribe. What your favorite event is this season. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo at pitpodcast_official. Remember, we've got new videos on Wednesdays. Get your merch at shop.pitpodcast.com. 2026 tour shirts on the site now. Cop something else if you want. We got balls deep in competition. We got Pride shirts. Pride Month coming up faster than you think.
Yeah.
Get ready for Rainbow Rumble. Powered by Blue Arc Apparel.
One man show. One man wrecking crew.
Great guy.
Thank you, Pit Crew. We will see you at the competition. Okay, that was a fart.